Steve here in Vegas. TJ, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
We're good. Are you in LA?
I am.
Man, that's an early rise for a radio show. Nice job.
Man, yeah, it's quite early, but I have fun. I enjoy it, so it's not too bad. But yeah, getting up pretty early to do that.
Yeah, got to be fired up. Got to be morning happy. So let's talk about that part of the conversation because I listened to that whole interview. It was a really good interview. What is your take on Trey Lance? Because people have high hopes for the Niners. Like this, could this be a disaster?
No, and I say that because I saw him this offseason quite a bit. Will there be some ebbs and flows and some ups and downs? Yeah, of course. That's his first year. He doesn't even have a lot of starts, period. I believe he started 18 times in college. If I'm not even that many. And so, but the talent is there athletically. He can really throw the ball. He has a really good tight end, 2 really good receivers. And one thing about Shanahan, they're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball effectively. Yeah. So he has a lot on his side. He has a good defense. Play within yourself. There'll be games where he forces the ball, but there's not going to be a ton of plays where he just has to force the ball. They run the ball so effectively, they're going to see a lot of single high. Receivers just got to create separation.
And he's got a great one, too, in Deebo Samuel. I was trying to draw a comparison in my head in terms of what they're going to run because we know Shanahan likes to run the ball. I was thinking like Lamar Jackson light or like Josh Allen at the beginning of his career light, like, using the guy for his strengths with his feet and making sure he's outside and mixing that with the running game.
100%. They're going to try to simplify his reads and his progressions. If it's single high, we'll work this side of the field. If it's too high, we'll work this side of the field. If nothing's there, check it down or use your athleticism. And obviously, he's going to start to feel really comfortable, and he'll force some things, and he'll learn from that. But I foresee Trey Lance having a pretty good season.
All right. TJ Houshmandzadeh, former NFL receiver, is with us, did the Dan Patrick Show this morning. He's an analyst with Fox Sports. He's on the Gottlieb Show all the time, and we have a Fox station here in Vegas. That's one of our sister stations. So, TJ, we were just talking about the devaluing of the running back and how a lot of the money is now going to wide receivers. Did you see this coming when you were playing, that you guys would kind of be the glamour guys getting all this money, and the running backs, the poor running backs, can't get they can't get a second deal?
Man, I think I was born too soon.
I know, right? Yeah.
But it's you would assume it's going to come back around, but yeah, I mean, specifically, let's talk Josh Jacobs and the Raiders. He comes out really well first couple of years in the league, and they don't pick up his 5th year out. You're like, huh? He's one of the better backs in the league, and he's young.
Yep.
But they feel, especially this New England system that Josh McDaniel runs, just look at what they've done. It's a running back by committee. We can find guys that can do what we want done, and they're going to allocate money to other positions. But I've always felt if you have a really good quarterback, the receivers are going to be pretty good. You go across the league, and you just look at the quarterbacks that are good. Their receivers are good. Everybody had all these high hopes for Trevor Lawrence. Who's his receivers? You can't name them. Who started for the Jets? You can't name them. Who was Sam Darnold's receivers with the Jets? You can't name them. But then you start talking who's Joe Burrow's receivers? Who's Justin Herbert's receivers? We're talking young quarterbacks. And so I believe it goes hand in hand. They always want to give the quarterback more credit, but they touch the ball every play. But it's finally it's good that the receivers are getting recognized for the work they have to put in like every other position.
So what I find interesting about this dynamic with the receivers, TJ, is the fact that there seems to be like these two different camps forming, right? There's the teams that went and acquired these guys via trade to pay them. It's Tyreek Hill, it's A.J. Brown, it's the Eagles and the Dolphins and others. And then you have the other teams that are like the Packers, who are like, you know what, we'll draft guys, we'll develop them, we'll see if we can get by. Kansas City kind of doing a similar thing here. Baltimore as well, the Titans. So like as these two paths kind of diverge, what do you think is going to be the more successful route? Diverting a lot of your money to a single guy or going the route of development and cheap options?
You can't go cheap. You get what you pay for. Ain't that what they say?
Yeah.
It might look good initially, but it ain't going to last. That's what they say. I mean, you left the Raiders out of there, baby. They got the best receiver in the league and paid him. And so, in Devontae Adams, you want a guy that you know when I need a play, he gonna win. That's Devontae Adams. That's Tyreek Hill. That's Stephon Diggs. That's Cooper Kupp, so forth and so on. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. You want a guy that when I got man-to-man coverage, the quarterback can trust he will win. I said this during the draft. I did the draft for Fox. I thought the Packers should have drafted George Pickens in the first round. They didn't. Let's see how that turns out. And so you got to have a guy on the outside that can get open when you need a play to be made. The fact that the Raiders have Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller, Derek Carr is the most underrated QB in the league. That it's going to be very interesting this year.
Do you think, let's go back to what you were saying about, paying receivers, and you mentioned the Packers should have drafted a first rounder. Could there be a drop off? And I'm not saying like 7 wins, but could we see the Packers or the Chiefs, because they're not loaded at receiver, win like 10 games instead of 12 or 13?
The Packers, I could for sure see the Packers because they have youngsters that they're going to count on. Yeah, Randall Cobb is a veteran. How much is he going to play? Amari Rodgers going into his second year, but Christian Watson, who's a first-round pick, young. I believe Romeo Doubs will be their best rookie receiver, and I said that on draft night as well.
Nice.
But when you look at the Chiefs, Mecole Hardman's played a ton of football. Juju has played a ton of football and had success. Marquez Valdes-Scantling playing with Brett Favre at Green Bay. So it's a little different when you talk Kansas City and Green Bay, because Kansas City, they have guys that have gotten it done. Haven't been consistent, but they've gotten it done.
TJ Houshmandzadeh, former NFL receiver, is with us. All right, let's go back to the Raiders. This is going to sound very negative in a very good division. Who's the worst team in the AFC West?
Wow. If you ask me today, I'll tell you one team, and you ask me tomorrow, I may give you a different one. That's how I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of the majority of my friends. There are a lot of Raider fans. The Raiders, I played 1 year with the Raiders, my last year in the league. Man, they treat me like I played my entire career there. Like the way the Raiders get a bad rap, the Raiders organization, they do a hell of a job with their alum. They literally treat me like I played 10 years there.
Yeah.
And teams don't do that. They don't have to do that. I mean, I had a cup of coffee with the Raiders. And so who's the worst team? Ooh. I don't want to be Switzerland and be neutral, but man, if you ask me and I really got to answer it, I would probably say just right now, probably Denver.
All right.
Like it.
Why? What are you worried about, if anything?
New system, and I could say the same thing for the Raiders, but it's a new quarterback and new defensive coordinator. That defense was really good, but I think Vic Fangio is one of the most underrated defensive coaches in the league. He's just a really, really good coach. And if I had to pick a second choice, I know this isn't popular, I would probably say the Chiefs. You're like, oh, why? Andy Reid's a fantastic coach. Patrick Mahomes, one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. But teams played them differently because of Tyreek Hill. Teams aren't going to play them like that anymore. And so I'm eager to see how they navigate through that. But that division, I'd hate to be in that division. It's going to be great football every week. I'm going to tune in, that's for sure.
I was going to say with Nate Hackett, is he the next great offensive genius, or is he Adam Gase, who just benefited from Peyton Manning, right? And then as he's a head coach, and obviously Hackett worked with Rodgers, like we just don't know. That's the other question I've been asking everyone in the preseason, the offseason, TJ, is who's the worst coach in the AFC West, right? Because we don't know about Staley yet. I mean, he made some mistakes last year, but I think he has a lot of positives. Hackett we don't know about. McDaniel's on a second go-round.
Oh, you for sure got to go with Hackett as being the worst coach, and that's just because he's had the least amount of success. Did he call plays in Green Bay or did LaFleur? We know McDaniels called the plays in New England. We know what Andy Reid can do. And at least Staley has been a head coach and kind of gotten his feet wet and kind of learned from the mistakes and the non-mistakes of what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
This is going to be Hackett's first go around at it. So just off of default, it would have to be him.
Do you like the way Staley coaches? Super aggressive, fourth downs, trying not to punt. Would you like to play for him?
I don't know. I mean, as a player, yeah, but I've said it. I said, man, Brandon Staley, he coaching in the NFL like we play Madden football. He just fourth and whatever, I'm going for it. It's like it's no consequence. As a player, I mean, you may like it, and you can't be a Monday morning quarterback. Oh, why'd you go for it? Because when he gets you, you're like, oh, that's a great call, coach. And so I don't mind it. I wish at times in big games that, man, if your defense is playing well, just punt the ball, trust them. But when he does well at it, nobody complains. And so can't grin when you win and sing the blues when you lose.
By the way, to your point about, once a Raider, always a Raider, couple of stories. First of all, on the pregame program this weekend, Eric Dickerson was on the Raiders program. He played 1 year with the Raiders in 1992.
I'm telling you, man,
yeah.
The Raiders, man, they just
It's
do
amazing.
a hell of a job.
And it's been going on forever.
And people don't say this publicly. Like, my last year playing for the Raiders, everybody asked me, was it bad? I'm like, nah, it actually was nowhere near what I thought it was. It was much better. But you hear all this negativity surrounding it. It's nothing like that, bro. Nothing like it. Complete opposite.
We had Ronnie Lott on Friday, and he, like, we talked about his 2 years with the Raiders. He went on for like 8 minutes. He had these great memories. Great memories.
Dude, I'm telling you, they do a hell of a job. That's for sure. So the people they got involved in doing that, Mark Davis needs to know you got the right people doing what they're supposed to be doing, because they make guys feel like they played years with the Raiders when we did not. Those people in those positions are doing a hell of a job.
One last question to close things out. TJ Houshmandzadeh is with us here on Cofield and Company. I don't want to overreact to the preseason, but I'm going to, because that's what we do. I think the Steelers could be sneaky this year. Tomlin has never had a losing season. What if Pickett is good? What if Pickens is really good? Steelers right now are 13th on the AFC title board by the odds. Could the Steelers be actually good, like 10-11 win good?
Nah, I don't think so,
way?
man. I really don't, because I don't believe Pickett will start the season.
Okay.
If Trubisky stumbles, it's easier to go to a rookie than pull the rookie. And so that's why I believe they're going to start Mitchell Trubisky. But that division, the Ravens are going to be always a contender every year. That's just what they do, as are the Steelers. One thing is a constant. The Steelers are going to play defense. They're going to present problems to every offense they play. But the Bengals should be better because of their confidence. I'm concerned about Jesse Bates not being in there. He doesn't get the credit I believe that he deserves for just his ability to keep everybody on the same page with the adjustments that they made in the second half of games in the late in the season. He has to get some credit for that. So the Bengals are going to be good. The Browns defensively will be really good. And so this may be that year that Tomlin has a losing season. You can never put anything past him. He's a hell of a coach, one of the best coaches in the league. I mean, he made the playoffs last year, and people would assume that the Steelers were trash last year, and they were a playoff team. And so can I see him being a surprise team? I would say no, because I for sure put the Bengals and the Ravens in front of them. And depending on what happens with Deshaun Watson, you may put Cleveland in front of them as well.
You know, we know all about your NFL career. I know you played at Oregon State. I know you did some JUCO. Are you a Barstow guy?
I am. I grew up in Barstow. Still have a ton of family and friends. Not much family, but a ton of friends there. All my childhood friends, still talk to them. They still my best friends to this day.
It's an interesting place. A very interesting place. Do you have a favorite restaurant from days long gone in Barstow?
A favorite restaurant? No. I don't even remember any restaurants. Only thing that I will say is the Del Taco in Barstow is the best Del Taco in the world. It's just different. Their meat, everything is different.
Oh, yeah. No, they're
Everything
like,
is different at
they're
that
like-
Del Taco, but restaurant-wise,
Yeah.
nah.
well, that's a
No.
restaurant. That counts. That's a gourmet Del Taco.
Absolutely.
That's a restaurant.
Well, there we go
There you
then.
go. TJ, thank you so much. I know it's been a long day. We appreciate a couple minutes from you.
All right, you guys take care, man. Keep up the great work, fellas.
There he is. TJ Houshmandzadeh. Must have been listening to the show. Or
Right.
probably not, because we really didn't do much great work today. But yeah, he's a Barstow guy. I always like to talk about Barstow because I feel like most people from here or from LA, like they don't actually stop in Barstow aside from getting some gas and, hey, I know about the Del Taco, so let me go get the Del Taco.
That McDonald's, it's in that weird red building.
McDonald's, sure. There was a Straw Hat Pizza, which I was like, wow, that's a weird name for a pizza place. Another good Mexican joint right on the main drag there. I haven't been to enough restaurants in Barstow. Who else has said that? I haven't been to enough restaurants in Barstow.
I always want to explore, but I always feel like it's just like a tiny strip of land. You got to explore more.
Well, now they became like big city because what is it? Is it Lenwood right up the road? They got the
Mhm.
outlet malls there and all the other fast food
Yeah,
and
mall.
pizza place, and it's grown. It's not like the Barstow.
That Carl's Jr. right off the exit.
Maybe the charm is not there anymore like it used to be in old Barstow.
Join the